Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence for Just Ask. Today's show, ladies and gentlemen, is home accessibility. Hurry back and join us. Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence for Just Ask. Today's show, ladies and gentlemen, is home accessibility. And is our prospective guest for today, Brad Wert. Good morning, Brad.
Good morning. How are you, Marsha?
I'm fine. How are you?
Doing well.
Now, Brad, you know what? I didn't give all your titles because there's so many of them. So I want to let you fill our viewers in with your titles and the company you represent.
Okay, my company that I represent is Core Freedom. We're out of Flushing, Michigan. We cover the state of Michigan. My credentialing would be the Certified Aging in Place Specialist, the Certified Environmental Access Consultant, and the Residential Wheelchair Ramp Consultant.
See, that's why I didn't say all that.
I know.
Okay.
And I'm a licensed builder, too, to boot.
Okay. Now, you know, we asked you to come today because a lot of people have concerns about accessible housing.
Sure.
And, you know, sometimes people feel like, you know what, I can't afford this, I can't afford that. And sometimes it also is related to the insurance, or it could be just something small out of pocket.
Correct.
Okay, so tell us about Core Freedom.
Core Freedom serves all clients, whether it be auto, whether it be if it's a covered benefit under your health insurance, if it's a private customer just wanting to make their home safer, whether it be from a physical accident or someone just in their natural aging process, they have mobility issues. We'd be more than happy to come out. We'll walk the house, identify some target areas that we see, make recommendations. Essentially, it's a start from the mailbox and work all the way back to the doghouse. We figure out how they use their house, what areas they want to gain access to, and we work with the homeowner.
That's wonderful. Okay, so what is CEAC and /CAP?
CEAC is the Certified Environmental Access Consultant. That is from the VGM group, and it's more of a core knowledge of ADA compliance and how we can take someone's physical impairments, mobility issues, or what have you, and gain access into the home, make things accessible, and that's based around ADA compliance. The CAPS, the Certified Aging in Place Specialist, is through the National Association of Home Builders and the AARP. At some point, the AARP got a little disgruntled with contractors walking into their senior homes saying you need the Taj Mahal or something like that, and someone would sign off. So they created a criteria to go through the home and identify key issues. It would take your builder off the street and educate them into, one, how to deal with seniors, the generation gaps. Until I took the course, I never realized as a young man trying to take someone's money, I was just trying to meet someone's physical needs, what to look for in the home, and how to market the product and strategize with that marketing program.
Now, is the CAP part that represents the client, so like a client is being taken advantage of, more or less?
Not necessarily. It's noticing what they need and providing a solution to that. This doesn't necessarily require a used car approach, if you will, to give the industry a lingo. Everybody needs something that I teach. Right down to removing a throw rug. That doesn't cost anybody anything.
Right. Because on the average, as you're aging, and you have rugs everywhere.
Sure.
You know, beautifying the home, true enough, but rugs become dangerous.
Yes, they do.
Okay, and most people say, oh, I had this rug for years. I've never slipped and fell on this rug before. But as you age or start to lose your balance or whatever have you, the rug can come flip from under you, or you can fall over the rug. Or
the Parkinson's patients, they have the shuffle. That rug, it could be an issue.
Oh yeah, tangle up in your legs or something.
Correct.
So a lot of people don't understand that, you know, we're not trying to take things out of their home, but we're trying to make their home more safety.
Absolutely.
So what would be the definition of a home assessment?
A home assessment, I would meet with you and figure out what your goals are, where you want to gain access to, what are your trouble areas, and then I would walk through and I would do a complete soup, nuts, and bolts of your home. We'd talk about your steps, your front steps. How tall are they? How wide are they? How much space between the handrails? What we can do there. Do you have handrails? Do you need handrails? And then move in through the house and figure out where your workstations are. As a builder, they teach us, the bathroom and the kitchen is literally a workstation.
Oh, yeah.
So we take those into very, very serious consideration, and there's a game plan put in place over there. Are you using gas appliances? Are you using electric appliances? Is a person in a mobility device whatsoever? Are they seated? Are they standing? Do we have to do something special? Do we have to open up the sink front for someone to roll under? Do we need to create a workstation? There's a lot to this. And then we grab ADA compliance and start looking at the turning spaces in there and try and figure out how much room we can give that individual.
Now, you know what I find somewhat not really difficult but questionable is that a person has been in his home for, say, 40 years. And then not only are they aging, but they sustain an injury of some sort from an accident. But the bathroom's upstairs.
There's options for that. If they can transfer, we can put in a stair lift.
Okay.
A stair lift is a simple device you transfer onto, and with a rocker switch, it goes up a gear like a train track and delivers them upstairs, which it turns 90 degrees away from the staircase, and they transfer off.
Okay.
That way they don't have to negotiate the steps.
But if the home is so dated and the stairwell or whatever is not supportive enough, is there something that can be done downstairs?
We can do downstairs. We've taken complete rooms and, with the help of a plumber, made a room into a bathroom.
Okay.
That's almost a better choice because there's more space in a bedroom as there is a bathroom. Everybody that I've ever met in my life says they can use a bigger bathroom. It's one of the smallest spaces, and it seems to be kind of an afterthought in most of your home construction. So to take a bedroom or a den or an office area and make it a bedroom would be a great solution for someone.
I would think so, but sometimes people, Brian, are looking at their finances like, oh no, I don't think I can afford that,
Sure.
So based on the insurances and everything, for a modification, do you guys tie in with most insurance companies?
There's some insurance companies that do cover it and some insurances that don't. And we can help negotiate that with the client. There are financing options as far as home modifications. Sometimes that's not for everybody, but we work within their budget. Okay. There's never a one-size-fits-all project. Everything's different.
Right.
But we try and work in the homeowner's budget.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, Brad, we're going to take a break. And ladies and gentlemen, I know you want to know what you can get in your home for modification. We'll come back in just a moment. We'll be right back.
What gets you moving?
Because when you get moving an hour a day,
You fuel your body.
And your mind. Get up and play an hour a day, Doc.
check out how to be a player at letsmove.gov. That's www.letsmove.gov.
Come on. All right, I know, 2 seconds. Hang on, just stand still. Stand still, love. 1 second, I know. Just okay, good. Okay, go. No. Boys, hang on, boys!
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
Everybody needs a helping hand. Take a look at your fellow man. Tell me, what can I do today?
Courtesy. Pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life.
And welcome back to the second half of the show. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you know me, I always tell you, get your pens and paper out, because why? You've got questions. So you can give us a call if you have a question for Brad Wert of Core Freedom, which means that you want to know something in particular about making a home modification in your home. So definitely we want to be able to give him the questions and get your information over to him. You can give us a call at 1-800-323-5336, 1-800-323-5336, or email me, Marcia at Just As Dog Show. However you seem fit to call or contact me is a wonderful thing, and we will pass the questions on to Brad Wertz of Core Freedom. Now, Brad, I had to tell our viewers that because a lot of people do have questions and don't know where to start.
Sure.
You know, they're in the home and they feel trapped in the home, and a lot of times they're like, you know what, I just guess I'm just going to die here, or wait for somebody to come by and see about me. Let me ask you this now. when you have to go into a person's home and they're an elderly person at that,
Okay.
and they have adult children, should all family members be involved in the decision making for these
I would
modifications?
prefer it because I commonly will walk in and I'll say, okay, is there someone who needs to be here at this meeting that cannot? Can we get them on the phone? Can we? I mean, a lot of people are FaceTiming now. 10 years ago when I started doing this work, I wouldn't ask anyone for their emails because most people didn't have. Now everybody's got an email. So it would be nice because there may be someone from an outlying state that couldn't be here that has questions. You know, how are we going to do this? Or how, you know, what are we going to do about the staircase? Or laundry? Do we need to bring the laundry up? So it's nice to have everybody who's involved in the care package included into what we're doing.
Okay.
It makes it a lot smoother if everybody knows what we're going to do.
Now, what about when you're making those repairs or changes in the home? Do the member have to leave the home? The family member have to, you know,
Not always.
vacate?
Not always. It all depends on them. If the noise is too loud, if there's a lot of dust and debris, we can do a lot of things to contain that noise. We can do a lot of things to contain the debris. We can do zipper walls. We try and do as little impact as possible.
Okay. Okay.
So that way they can keep their own home and not
Right.
have an added expense of a hotel.
Right. Some people are like, well, you know, they're making us a bathroom downstairs, but we want to go in our own kitchen. So,
Right.
so you guys can put up the invisible or zipper wall, as you call it, and they
Correct.
can still stay home. And
Yeah, it's just a solid visqueen wall that keeps everything
Okay.
nice and clean.
okay. Okay. What are some of the ADA guidelines?
The ADA guidelines, we like to use them because it's a known solution in the public world. Are they applicable? I mean, are they a rule in the residential world? They're coming that way. They're coming that way because there's nothing else to use. ADA guideline is known, it works. The ramp width, the height of the commode, the grab bar location. Those are all things we like to draw into the house because long term, we don't know what the client is going, what direction their physical mobility status is going to be. So we
Okay.
like to kind of look for the future. And with ADA guidelines, it's almost a one-size-fits-all.
Oh, yeah.
It works in the public world, so we like to put it into the residential world. But at the same token, it doesn't have to look like we took a grab bar from McDonald's and put it into their house because
Okay.
they're basic, they're brushed, they're not cosmetic. So we like to give them the
Right.
options.
Right. Well, you're giving them a little more choices of design so that they'll look.
Sure.
You know, and I guess that's fine in a sense because, but when you're sick, you know, these things are to accommodate you to help you get better.
Correct.
So if you, and I don't know if families have a lot of company anymore, you know, some families do, some don't. But when someone comes to your house, they're glad to see that grab bar truly because they can hold on to it when they come in through the door and
Sure.
catching their breath or, you know.
Absolutely.
Just knowing that, you know, okay, I didn't fall into the wall when I was trying to take my boots off, I grabbed onto the grab bar. So I don't look at some of those things as medical. You know,
Right.
medical useful all the time. I think it's part of the home, basically.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, everybody's not going to have an elevator in their house to go
No.
from the basement to the top floor. But what's the
Correct.
difference between barrier-free and universal?
Barrier-free is removing obstacles for someone who's basically in some type of mobility device. At one point it was a wheelchair, but you start seeing the rolling walkers, those are issues as well. Barrier-free is just that. We start removing barriers. We start looking at roll-in showers. We start looking at ramps. Any threshold, essentially a 1/4 of an inch unbeveled or above. We start attacking that. That's the essential of barrier-free. Universal would be, I'm 6'3", my daughter's 5'2", so if I'm going to hang a mirror, it's got to work for the both of us. That's the essentials
Okay.
of universal. It works for everyone in the household or someone who may come to visit. So that's where we need to talk to the family and figure out who's using what, why, where, and how, and then start employing a strategy on that.
Now, is it more financially feasible when a house is being built to have certain things put in versus later on?
It would, but unfortunately, the way homes get constructed, I don't think that's a concept in the family's mind that's having the house built because we're looking at our dream home. We want the
Right.
white picket fence. Nobody essentially really wants to have grab bars in their bathroom or think of a pull-down handheld shower or even a pause control on the handheld shower.
But you know, if you have a child, disabled child, and you having a home built, seem like you probably would consider putting some of those things in along the way, because you're saying, well, you know, our son is growing.
Absolutely.
You know, even though he's wheelchair bound, he's still growing.
Absolutely.
So a bathroom that's, you know, this design, not specifically for him, but for anyone really at that point, should be a plus or added feature.
It is. It is. At one point, people would want their houses unmodified just in case they sold it, but now there's a market that's actually looking for homes that have some type of accessible shower that they can grow with.
Yeah, I would think that homes with ramps, homes with door modifications, bathroom modifications would be a plus in the market, not a, you know, minus.
Absolutely.
But I don't want to raise the market up on, you know, finding accessible housing.
I get it, but having wider doors helps all of us. I mean, we've all moved a couch where it's like if this door was just another inch, you know?
Right.
And the same thing goes with mobility issues. If the door was just another inch wider, and there's some low-dough, I mean, you don't have to open up a door frame. There's something called swing clear hinges that take that door slab right out of the way. There's your 1 5/8 you wanted.
But see, that's just it. Now, you and I are talking, and our viewers are listening, and they're like, okay, I never thought about that, you know, the hinge on the door. They never thought about a certain type of window that, you know, can open up easily, things of that nature, and ventilation systems. Okay, so a dehumidifier automatically put into the, what is that, the furnace area so that the house will stay, you know, is it dry?
I think it's controlling the moisture.
Right. Yeah. But we don't think about those things until we discover that one of our family members or ourselves have, you know, been, you know, taken over with a condition that warrants us to make positive change.
It's very challenging when one of our family members is ill, has a disease, or has a mobility issue. It brings everything into light, and sometimes we're just go. We don't think, you know, you go out and buy a scooter, and then once you get it to your car, it's like, how am I going to take it home?
Right.
And wait, while I get home, how do I get it in the house?
Right.
Because I live in a city where there's a lot of activity on my street and a scooter out front. Some kid's going to take it for a tour. You just know it's too tempting.
It's a tour, all right. It's a tour, right?
Right, but you know what I'm saying. So that's where we like to provide our services. Hey, this is where we're going, but A equals B, C, and D, so we got to cover these options. Where do you want to go with this? I know everything's time, money, and cost, but let's figure out what you need versus what you want. And that's part of the certifications, talking about that, knowing that if you go to a scooter, you're going to need other options to get it around.
So don't just jump up and buy the scooter and don't know the other parts to having that scooter, whether it's where to put the scooter. If the scooter's going to go in the garage, or the scooter's going to go in the back of the house.
Do you intend to travel with it?
Right, and can you transfer the scooter in your car or on your car? Okay, that was a good one. All right, so Brad, we got to take another break, and we'll be right back with some more good information about Core Freedom home accessibilities. We'll be right back.
Until all our daughters are safe. Until all our children have families. Until all our families have homes. Until all our parents are cared for. We'll be here.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to energy-saving bulbs. Saving energy saves you money.
And welcome back to the last half of the show. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but you know I always say you learn something every time you tune in to Just Ask. And I am very, very pleased to have Brad Wert from Core Freedom here today, because a lot of you have questions about things in your home that you would like to see changed. And the only way that's going to happen is if you call and ask the questions, or if you know, you feel like, hey, my son, my daughter needs to be a part of my decision making. Get along with your son and daughters and tell them, you know what, I want to stay in my home, but these are some of the things I do think I need in my home, and make a call. And if it's not Core Freedom, it's someone. You've got to talk to someone to make your home more accessible for you to continue to stay there and continue your freedom. Now, I'm going to ask Brad some more questions, but keep in mind, if you have any questions for him, you can give us a call at 1-800-323-5336, or email me at Marsha@JustAskTalkShow or Twitter Just Ask Talk Show, hashtag Just Ask Talk Show. Now, Brad, some people have a question about they can't afford to purchase some of these items. So what will be the difference between the purchase and a rental?
Well, purchase and a rental would be if someone was coming to live permanently. Obviously, you wouldn't want to rent that equipment because you're going to need it for some considerable amount of time. Rental would be someone's coming up for the winter. You need a ramp for 3 or 4 weeks. There's options to put a ramp up for 3 or 4 weeks, or a stair lift, or some, the rental equipment is for that short-term stay.
Okay.
A lot of times, financially, it doesn't make sense to rent something for a couple of years. You're going to need a ramp. Go ahead and have the ramp put in. A lot of times, we have a rental ramp program. If there's an injury from a fractured leg, we can throw the ramp up. Once the leg heals, we can pull the ramp down.
Okay, but how should someone start looking for services?
When you know there's an issue, mobility, give us a call. We'll come out and we'll talk. We'll start from the ground up, figure out where you're at, what you need, what you're looking to spend. Budget's always there. Again, there's options for finance. There's options for the rental as well. But that's where the ground starts. And then we'll meet with the family and go from there.
Okay, but is there anything the family should be leery of?
Off-the-shelf products that don't require installation kind of make me a little nervous. There's some suction cup grab bars out there that good, and there's some suction cup grab bars out there that bad.
Okay.
The problem with those two is what you're putting it on. Is the shower clean?
Right.
Most of my clientele don't have the ability to clean all the time. So to put a suction cup grab bar on an unclean shower is a recipe for disaster.
Okay.
So that's something to consider.
And people don't realize that, in a shower, the mold, build up, condensation, and is it condensate? What is it?
Condensation, soap scum.
Right. So, that's not to say that the person is not clean themselves, but if you don't have the ability to clear that kind of, situation up, you will cause another type of bacterial flare up in your home.
Absolutely.
Which could cause another condition, to your body. So we don't want you to just go to the store, buy a grab bar. Oh, this will work.
Correct.
And, and sometimes after so long, the suction grab bars become loose. And you're in the bathtub trying to pull up, and it comes down.
Right.
And you end up breaking an elbow, arm, a shoulder, a rib, something like that. And I'm not trying to discourage people from buying those things, but I just want our viewers to be extra careful.
Every device has its fit.
Right.
And so there's a lot of consideration with these devices. So that's why I still think an expert should be consulted.
What's the example, or do you have an example of like a family member that, needs some type of assistance, but,
I live in a bi-level.
Okay.
So when you walk in my front door, you have 7 steps up and 7 steps down. My mother has periodically some mobility issues. She's got fibromyalgia. Some days she's a jogger, and other days she's a crawler.
Okay.
So if she were to come live with me, not only would she have to make me pumpkin pie, but I'd have to put in a stair lift to get her upstairs, because right off the get-go, to enter my door, there's 7 steps to go up.
Okay.
So I would have to figure out how to accommodate that, and then move around the house from there. Look at the throw rugs, look at the bathroom. Can she step up and over the tub? Do I have a grab bar for her to grab up and a hold of? I've heard at one point most of the traumatic brain injuries that happen on a property happen inside the bathtub.
Right.
So the slip and falls, you got water, you got soap, it's a recipe for disaster. So I personally feel everybody should have something to grab a hold of in their bathroom.
So how often does equipment need to be serviced?
The service of equipment, that comes into your mechanicals. The manufacturer, like when we do a vertical platform lift or we do a stair lift, they'll ask for annual service. Ceiling lifts, some things are even more. The reason ceiling lifts are even more is because there's a sling, some type of cloth, some are mesh, that have stitching on those. So we want to make sure the stitching's not fraying, because that's a hazard when you have a client suspended in the air traveling from room to room. Some of these are like train tracks. They can take you
Right.
from the commode to the shower to the bed, over to the jacuzzi for some soak therapy, and then pull back up over to the therapy
But are there
table.
lifetime warranties on these items, or just a couple
No.
of years, and people should just?
We do extended warranties.
Okay.
But the manufacturers usually have their own. We call that out with the client when we deliver a product. We go soup, nuts, and bolts with them and explain the use of them, which brings in the family member again.
Okay, I'm about to say, if I got something in my house, they coming out. Okay,
Sure.
at least once or
Sure.
twice a year, just to secure it. Okay,
Sure.
to make sure. I didn't mean to cut you off, Brad, but I wanted to show some of the photos of some work and to ask you a question about it. Now, I know this one has a double shot, but tell us about this one here. So I see that there is what is this?
That's called a vertical platform lift.
Okay.
And where a vertical platform lift is good is if you have a really shallow yard, but you have 3 or 4 steps up and you don't want that ramp taking up your yard, that thing goes straight up, straight down. In the upper photo, you can see there's kind of a ramp that flips up that keeps the end user from rolling off, and there's a gate at the top. So when the lift's down, someone can't open the gate and fall into the well, if you will.
Okay,
So
okay.
there's safeties involved with that, and there's your maintenance right there.
Yes, I like that. Now, I know this is what we've been talking about all the time.
Grab bars.
Grab bars, okay.
Yes. They come in variety of shapes, sizes. We prefer a nice, comfortable 1 1/4 to 1 1/2 grip. They're available in colors. They're available in materials. Those particularly are brushed stainless steel.
Okay.
But you can get them in like a teak wood. You can get them in brass. There's several options for grab bars.
Okay. Now, I know that I'm looking at a rail pretty much, but this rail is to what?
That rail takes the end user into their shower area. That is a ceiling lift system, what we talked about. So there would be a sling involved, and there's a motor that rides across the rail that takes the end user into that area to transport them into their shower chair.
Wow.
And that's how they toilet.
Wow, that is great. And this must be part of the device right here. Is this it?
No, I don't
Okay.
actually.
What's
I
this
can
one?
get you a photo. That is the stair lift.
Okay.
That's the one that I would talk about in my home. I would have to put that to get from my front door up to the main level of my house.
Okay, okay. And the last one I want to show, I know we're going to run out of time here, but I just wanted to get our viewers an idea of some of the things. So now these are just rails, but I don't want to say just rails. So now the law or the rule is to have your rails positioned on the bottom of the walkway.
Extending beyond the walkway,
okay,
correct.
extended and beyond the
Before
walkway.
you're stepping, you're grabbing, so to speak.
Okay, because a lot of people, well, not olden days, but just a few years back, always had their rails up on the porch.
Correct.
So that you wouldn't have it on the stairs. But now
Right.
it should be down on the
That way
walkway.
you're securely, you got a hold of something before you start navigating the steps.
Okay, and I like this one. I'm sorry. I had to do this one more time. I like this. So this is a gated, it's pretty much like a safety.
It's a safety gate.
Okay.
That gate is designed on dowels, so there's really not a spring catch at the top. You lift it up, you swing it out of the way, and then you lift it up, and it closes on itself, and it's structural for the homeowner.
So it's the homeowner and the children, ladies and gentlemen, and the pets. Okay, okay. Well, Brad, I hate to run. I'm really enjoying you, and I want to know, would you come back again?
Absolutely.
Okay, really, you guys were very helpful to us today because a lot of people have questions about accessibility.
Thank you very much for having me.
So we definitely will shoot questions your way. People
Please
should
do.
ask. All right, all right. So tell everyone over at Core Freedom we said thank you.
We'll send it right back.
All
Thank you.
right, all right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I always want to give you food for thought, and today I surely did. You have questions about accessibility housing, then you need to give us a call, 1-800-323-5336, or email me, say all that stuff at the bottom of the screen. And we want to thank Core Freedom and Brad Wert for coming out to see us today. I'm your host, Marsha Florence with Just Ask, and what do I always say? If you have a question about a person with a disability or just a general question, don't be afraid to ask. Just ask. I'm your host. Thank you.